Gordon VanHoutan. I am a brewmaster here at Bierhaus. We started here a little over a year ago. Right about a year ago, more than a year ago, the restaurant opened. The brewery has been functional right about 1 year. We started, I think, in October or so. So basically, I'm American. I moved here about 6 years ago. Originally in the US, I was architect. I was architect for 6 years. And then my wife, who's a Latvian, wanted to move back to her homeland. And I'm like, okay, but if we do that, I don't want to practice architecture there, I want to make beer. Basically, when I started architecture, the first job I got in Minnesota, one of the interns set a blank bottle of beer on my desk. I said, here, I made this. And I was like, you can't make beer at home. And I'm like, you made this? And then so I started learning about home brewing. And this is just sort of just as sort of the craft beer in the US had really taken off. It was early 2000s. So the idea that you can make it yourself just like totally changed. Just that idea changed my life. I like making things. Architecture was one path of that. Beer is another path of that. So just to be able to create like whatever flavor and put that into liquid form and have people enjoy that, that's fantastic. Beer making itself is not, it's really easy. I mean, beer's been around for thousands of years, you know. It was basically all civilization can thank brewing for its existence. Like, the reason that cities formed is so that you can have commerce in order to distribute beer. I mean, the way we farm and agriculture started as a way to produce the wheat and the barley and the things necessary to make beer. I mean, just everything in civilization started with beer. Basically, I moved my family here, and then I went back to the U.S. for the first year. I went to the Civil Institute. It was a World Brewing Academy, so it was half of the courses were in U.S. in Chicago, and the other half were in Germany in Munich. And so that was my first year. Basically, I just dumped the family off and then headed back and went to beer school for the first year. It's almost like a mixture between science and art. Is what alchemy is. And so this was, I think, for me, a perfect name because that's what I do when I make the beer. You know, it's very much a mixture of science, you know, which is like what your water tester really helps me with, and these things really doing analytical testing and things like this. That really helps me on the science side. And then on the sort of the art side, it's just really being creative with ingredients and trying to make what I call deliciousness. This is what, you know, anytime you have a beer or food or anything, if it's not delicious, then why are you consuming it? And so really, that's sort of the standard we try to meet. You know, if it's not delicious, it goes down the drain. I mean, water is more than 90% of what's in a beer. I mean, you have to start with all good ingredients, including water. And so here in Riga, there's a lot of changes. Like this year, they're replacing all the pipes in the city. And so this year was really tremendously terrible because whenever they fix the pipe, then you have like just the black gunk that comes out of the pipe after they finished. And when they turn the water back on, it flushes all the everything that they've disturbed. And so they've been a huge project in Riga replacing all the water pipes, all the water mains. So that's really affected us a lot, and the source of water changes quite frequently. And so normally it's a seasonal thing where in summer you'll have one type of water from one source, and then maybe in winter it's going to be a different source. So they use the water from the Alchemist as one source. There's the lakes that are north of the town, there's the Wall deserts. They use that as a source. They have wells as well. But so sometimes it can be well water, which will be harder. So if it's surface water, it's going to be softer water. Yeah, and they don't tell you when they're going to switch the source. Yeah, so the only way is to really start testing. And then also, this is like, you know, the first time brewing, just figuring out what we have to work with. So whenever you start a brew, you should definitely check your water, and not just once, but on, you know, if you have a non-changing water source, once you sort of figure out what it is and that it's consistent, you're probably good to go. But with us, like, we really wanted, so mostly now at the beginning of every brew day, the first thing I do is check the water. And then I know what salts, so I can add, you know, some calcium. So, and also it helped us figure out what filtering we needed. So we started with, so now we kind of go down to soft water, and then I add back what's necessary. Not a lot, a little bit like the Pilsner we make, I like to have start with softer water so I don't add the calcium like I did with our ales. So on that, I guess on that beer it does change quite a bit. But most of our beers are made with basically the same target water profile. For a little at the beginning we didn't use it, and then we were like, we need some more analytics on what our source water is. And so it was probably after about 2 months of brewing that I contacted Snapdesk for that kit. Like whenever you get like a malt or when you get the hops, I mean, there's a little sheet that tells you what to expect from it. But I don't have that for the water. And so, so this is so that's what I use instead. Yeah, so I do the, you know, it's just a little starter kit that the Smart Brew Kit, yeah. And so it has, you know, it comes with pretty much the necessary things. Now I find that with our softer water, I need the lower hardness. There's like 2 levels. There's a hardness high and hardness low, and so I need to switch to the hardness low with the filtered water. And then I also want to get an iron test because Latvia has a lot of iron in the water, so I haven't been checking that. So in addition to the main, there's maybe a couple other things you need, but if you're using just normal water, just that kit has all of the basic things that you need. Yeah, so you just get another kit of the reagents, the reagent strips, and then you go. So I just use it with my smartphone, and it's like I think €5 for 1 extra test. So the day before, we fill basically this tank all the way up, and this one about halfway. And so during that filling process, I'm checking the actual water that's going into the tank. So I got my brew kit right here. It's nice and neat. It's always right up on the top shelf. So we have 4 fermenters right now. We've already ordered 4 more, so we're gonna, right now where our malt room is, we're gonna add 4 more fermenters there and then move the malt room downstairs. Then this is our bright tank, so this is where we package from. So it goes, depending on the beer, normal beer is about 3 to 4 weeks. Our Pilsner is about 5 to 6 weeks. And like this is the first time I'm making our barley wine, which is like it's about a 12% beer. And so I'm not sure how long it's going to be. I want to release it the middle of December, so it's going to be about 8 to 10 weeks aged in the fermentation. It's like a pale ale, but it's like a triple pale ale. It's like when I was home brewing, I would make one every year, but I would age it for 1 year before I released it. So actually, the first year I made it was the first year I came here, and here in Latvia, they celebrate Christmas like on Christmas Eve more. And so Christmas Day, I'm like, there's nothing to do, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make beer. So I made it, make it on Christmas Day, and then I would serve it the following year. But it's actually really good after about 3 or 4, between 3 and 5 years. It's the best.